This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so today's topic is about the larynx. Okay, so larynx, it is the voice box. It is also an organ of respiration and phonation. Okay, so it mainly protects the lower respiratory passage and it acts as a watchdog to prevent the entry of any foreign objects inside the respiratory passage. Okay, so what are the things we are going to see in the larynx today? First, we'll see about the extent and dimension. Then we'll see about the constitution of the larynx. Then next we'll about the cartilages. So joints of larynx, laryngeal ligaments and membranes, cavity of larynx. So other than this, mucous membrane, rima glottis, muscles of larynx, vocal cord, vocal movements, apply anatomy. So it's a very big topic, larynx, and it is a very important essay also. So now in this session, I am going to see only up to the cartilage only. So in the second session, I'll see the remaining about joints and the laryngeal ligament. So now we'll enter into the part E. So as I already said, it is a organ for protection of voice. So it is situated in the anterior median line of the neck. This is the anterior midline of the neck. Okay. So if you see, it extends from C3 vertebra to C6. Okay. So in adults, it extends from C3 to C6. In children and female, it extends from C1 to C4. It little higher than the male. Okay. And if you see the extension of the larynx, it extends from the root of the tongue to the trachea. Okay. So this is a sagittal section of the head and neck specimen. You can see the section of the mandible. This is the tongue. Okay. This is the hyoid bone. So the green colored part here is the larynx. So below that, this part is the trachea. And you can see the pharynx here. This is the nasal cavity and this is the nasopharynx. And this is the oropharynx, and here is the laryngopharynx. Laryngopharynx continues as the esophagus. Okay, so now it lies in anterior midline of neck. Okay, extends from root of trunk to the upper part of trachea. So in adult, it extends from C3 to C6, adult male. In female and children, it is between C1 to C4. Okay. So now we'll see about the length of the larynx. So here the red color one here is the larynx. So you can see it continues below with trachea. It is about 44 millimeter in males and 36 millimeter in female. Okay. And if you see the diameter, it is about 3 millimeter up to 3 years. After that, it starts increasing. And in adults, it's about 12 millimeter. So at puberty, if you see the male larynx grows rapidly and becomes larger than female, that's why the voice change is there in males. Okay. So next we'll go about the skeleton of the larynx. Otherwise, it is called constitution of larynx. So this larynx is made up of skeletal framework of cartilages. Okay. So the cartilages are connected by joints, ligaments, and membranes, and it is moved by a number of muscle. Okay. So inside the larynx, you will have the cavity which is lined by the mucous membrane. Okay. So in the next slide, we'll see about the cartilages of the larynx. Okay. So there are three, totally if you see, there are 9 cartilages of larynx. So out of this, 3 will be unpaired and 3 will be the paired cartilage. Okay. So 3 unpaired cartilages are one by one: thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, and epiglottis. Okay. So 3 paired cartilages are arytenoid, carniculate, and cuneiform. Okay. So totally 9 cartilages. So out of this, if you see the histology of the cartilages, so this thyroid, cricoid, and base of the arytenoid are hyaline cartilage. The remaining 3, that is epiglottis, carniculate, cuneiform, and the apex of the arytenoid are elastic cartilage. So this hyaline cartilage will ossify after 25 years of age. Other cartilages are elastic, they will not ossify. Okay. So now see in the next picture, you see the cartilages. So this is the hyoid bone. You can see the red color one here is the thyroid cartilage and the green color one is the epiglottis. and the yellow color one is the cricoid cartilage, and the blue color one is the arytenoid cartilage, and purple color one here is the cartilage. Okay, the cuneiform will be above the cartilage. In the next picture you will see. So you can see individually each cartilage here. This is the thyroid, okay, which is shield shape, and you can see the leaf shaped cartilage epiglottis, and signet ring shaped cartilage cricoid, and this is the pyramid shaped cartilage arytenoid, and you can see the carniclate and cuneiform cartilage. Okay, so out of this, thyroid, cricoid and base of the arytenoid are made up of hyaline. The remaining are elastic. Okay, so I think you are clear with this. I'll continue with the next slide. Okay, we'll go on to the next slide. So first cartilage, we'll see unpacked cartilage, that is a thyroid cartilage. Just see the picture. Okay, the shape of the thyroid cartilage here, the shield shaped. Okay, so it resembles the shield of a soldier in the war. Okay, and it is open posteriorly and it is angulated anteriorly. Okay, it is the largest cartilage of the larynx, and it if you see, the angulation is more acute in males. Okay, it is about 90 degree, and in females it is 120 degree. That's why in males the voice is louder and low pitched, and female it is high pitched. Okay, and main function of the thyroid cartilage is it shield larynx from injury, outside injury, and it provides also attachment to the vocal cord. Okay, so next, if you see the location of the thyroid cartilage, it lies opposite the C4 and C5 vertebra. So the extension of the larynx starts from C4 to, that is C3 to C6. Okay, so it starts from C4 to C5, and in cross section it appears V-shaped in cross section. Okay, so you can see this picture, it appears V-shaped in cross section. So it consists of two lamina. You can see quadrilateral shape, two lamina here. This is the lamina. Okay, so each lamina has four border. This is the upper border of the lamina. This is the lower border of the lamina. Okay, and it has an anterior border, and this is the posterior border of the lamina. Okay, and it has two surface, outer and inner surface. I think now you're clear about the surfaces and borders of the lamina of thyroid cartilage. Next, we will see detailedly about the attachment and features of each borders and surface. Okay, so first we'll see the anterior border. So you can see the thyroid cartilage. This is the lamina. Okay, you can see this is the anterior border here. This is the anterior border. Actually, if you see the anterior border, so both the anterior border of each lamina, they meet at the thyroid angle here. It is otherwise called laryngeal prominence. Okay, so actually the lower part of the anterior border meets here to form laryngeal prominence. The upper part does not meet, and here it forms a notch that is called thyroid notch. Okay, so you can see the anterior border. Okay, now the posterior, this is the again the sagittal section of the larynx. So first understand the diagram. Okay, and this bone here is the hyoid bone. This is the epiglottis. You can see the blue color thyroid cartilage here, and this is the cricoid cartilage. Okay, now the posterior surface of anterior border. Okay, so it gives attachment to three ligaments and three muscles. So what are the three ligaments? So the first ligament here is the thyroepiglottic ligament. You can see this is the thyroepiglottic ligament, and the second ligament is the vestibular ligament, and third ligament is the vocal ligament. Okay, so it gives attachment to three ligaments. Thyroepiglottic, that means it between the epiglottis and the thyroid cartilage, and the second one is vestibular ligament, and third one is the vocal ligament. And also it gives attachment to three muscles. Okay, what are the three muscles? So the first muscle here, the vocalis muscle. Okay, see, this is the vocal ligament medially. So next to the vocal ligament, you can see first muscle here is this is the vocalis muscle. Okay, Then second muscle here is the thyroarytenoides. That means between the thyroid and arytenoid cartilage. And the third muscle is the thyroepiglotticus muscle. Okay. So these muscles are arranged mediolaterally. Okay. First one is vocalis. Second one is thyroarytenoides, and fourth one is third one is thyroepiglotticus. Okay. So the posterior surface of anterior border gives attachment to three ligaments, three muscles. The three ligaments are thyroepiglottic, vestibular, and vocal ligament, and three muscles are vocalis, thyroarytenoides, thyroepiglotticus. Okay. So I think now you're clear about the anterior border. So next we'll go on to the posterior border of the thyroid cartilage. So the posterior border is free. They will not meet with each other. It is free. It extends above and below as the superior horn and the inferior horn. You can see the superior and the inferior horn. Okay. So this is the posterior border. You can see the superior horn and the inferior horn. So this posterior border, it receives the insertion of the three muscles. So what are the three muscles attached to the posterior border of the thyroid lamina? So starting from above, the first muscle is the palatopharyngeus, next one is salpingopharyngeus, and third one is the stylopharyngeus. So palatopharyngeus from palate, salpingo from auditory tube, stylopharyngeus from the styloid process. Okay. So other than this, if you see, you can see the three muscles here. So this is salpingopharyngeus, and here is the palatopharyngeus from the palate here. So this is the auditory tube, and you can see this from the styloid process. You can see the stylopharyngeus muscle, which is attached to the posterior border. Okay. So next we'll see the extension of the posterior border above and below. As I said previously, above it extends as superior horn, below it extends as the inferior horn. So the superior horn is connected to the tip of the greater cornu of the hyoid bone here by a ligament called lateral thyrohyoid ligament. Lateral thyrohyoid ligament. Sometimes in between the lateral thyrohyoid ligament, you can see an additional cartilage that is called cartilago-tritechia. It is not always present, but sometimes it is present, cartilago-tritechia. Okay. Then if you see about the inferior horn, is the extension of the posterior border in the inferior part. So which articulates with the cricoid cartilage to form the cricothyroid joint. Okay. So inferior horn articulates with cricoid cartilage to form the cricothyroid joint. So this recurrent laryngeal nerve which supplies the larynx enters the larynx behind this joint. Okay. So this is the anterior view, and this is the posterior view of the larynx. Okay. So now the recurrent laryngeal nerve enters the larynx behind the joint. Okay. So I think now you are clear about the anterior and posterior border of the thyroid cartilage. Okay. So next we'll see about the upper border. So upper border, if you see, it is convexo-concave from before backward. So it is a convexo-concave from before backward, and it gives attachment to the thyrohyoid membrane. See, this is the thyroid cartilage. This is the upper border. So it gives attachment to thyrohyoid membrane. So this thyrohyoid membrane is attached above to the upper border of the body and greater cornu of the hyoid bone, not to the lower border. Is attached to the upper border of the body and greater cornu of the hyoid bone. Okay. So this, if you see the thyrohyoid membrane, it is thickened in the medial part to form median thyrohyoid ligament. On the lateral side, it is thickened to form the lateral thyrohyoid ligament, which connects the superior horn to the tip of the greater cornu of hyoid bone. Okay. So other than this, if you see, okay, so the lower border, if you see the lower border of the thyroid cartilage, so it is attached to the upper border of the arch of cricoid cartilage by a ligament called cricothyroid membrane. So the anterior part of the cricothyroid membrane here thickened to form the median cricothyroid ligament. So easily you can remember this between thyroid and cricoid cartilage. This membrane is called cricothyroid membrane. So always the median part will be thickened. So this is called median cricothyroid ligament. Okay. So now the upper border is gives attachment to the thyroid membrane. The lower border to the cricothyroid membrane. Okay. So it is also otherwise called conus elasticus or cricovocal membrane. Okay. So now we'll see about the other attachments of the lower border. Okay. So if you see the shape of the lower border, it is straight in front and it is concave behind. So this is the side view of the larynx. You can see the side view of the thyroid cartilage. So this is, if you see the lower border of the thyroid cartilage here, it is straight in front and it is concave behind. Okay, so this part, the lower border also gives attachment to the one muscle called cricothyroid muscle. It gives attachment to cricothyroid muscle and also to the one more muscle, that is cricopharyngeus part of the inferior constrictor muscle. Okay, so I think now you're clear about the lower border. So now you can see the outer surface of the thyroid cartilage. So this is the outer surface of the thyroid cartilage. This is the lateral view. So in the outer surface, you can see an oblique line which extends from superior thyroid tubercle to the inferior thyroid tubercle. You can see an oblique line in the outer surface of thyroid cartilage. So this oblique line gives attachment to three muscles. Okay. So you can see the strap muscles here, that is infrahyoid muscles here. So this muscle is the sternohyoid, and this is the sternothyroid, and this is the thyrohyoid muscle. Okay, so now what are the muscles attached to the oblique line? So the first muscle attached is the thyrohyoid. You can see the thyrohyoid muscle is attached to the oblique line. So next will be the sternothyroid. So actually thyrohyoid is the upward continuation of the sternothyroid muscle. Okay. And the third muscle, if you see, that is the inferior constrictor muscle, which is attached to the oblique line. So that if you see the oblique line, there are three muscles attached. One is thyrohyoid. So next one is the sternothyroid, and next one is the inferior constrictor muscle. Okay. I think you are clear about the attachment on the oblique line. So next we'll see about the inner surface of the thyroid lamina. So this is the inner surface of the thyroid lamina. So which is covered by the mucous membrane. Okay, so it is covered by mucous membrane, and it also forms the lateral part of the inner surface forms the lateral wall of pyriform fossa. So there is a fossa here. Okay, you can see the fossa. This fossa is called pyriform fossa. So which is related to the lateral wall of the inner surface of thyroid lamina. Okay, I think you are clear about the thyroid cartilage. Shall I ask some questions? You can answer in the chat box. No need to unmute your mic. So all are elastic cartilage except. So just answer for this question fast. Okay. Okay, good. So all of you, I think you are listening the class, following. So the answer here is the cricoid cartilage. Okay, so the cricoid cartilage is an example for hyaline cartilage. Okay, so we'll go on to the next question. So the posterior border of the thyroid lamina gives attachment to all muscle except. So except which muscle? Except which muscle? Stylopharyngeus, palatopharyngeus, salpingopharyngeus, and cricothyroid. Except which muscle? Yeah, good, good. Except cricothyroid. Okay. So now you're clear about the thyroid cartilage, no? It is a shield-shaped cartilage, has two lamina. Each lamina has upper border, lower border, anterior border, posterior border, and two surface, outer surface and inner surface. Okay. So the anterior border meets anteriorly to form the thyroid angle or laryngeal prominence. Okay. So next we'll go on to the next cartilage. Okay. This and all you know already. It's a repetition only. Okay. So we'll go on to the next cartilage, that is the cricoid cartilage. Okay. So I already said the shape of the cricoid cartilage is signet ring shape. So it is signet ring shaped cartilage. It lies below the thyroid cartilage at the level of C6. So it is stronger than thyroid cartilage. It has a narrow anterior part and the broad posterior part. Okay, so it has a narrow anterior part which is called as an arch and broad posterior part which is called as lamina. You can see the shape of the ring which has a broader upper part and narrower lower part. Okay, so now I will go on to the next slide. So you can see the cricoid cartilage here. This is the narrow anterior arch here, and this is the broader posterior part which is called as lamina. Okay, so I will go on now about the arch of the cricoid cartilage. So the arch of the cricoid cartilage has an upper border, lower border, and it has an outer and the inner surface. Okay, so if you see the upper border has an outer lip and the inner lip. Okay, so this outer lip gives attachment to one muscle. That muscle is called lateral cricoarytenoideus. So this is the arytenoid cartilage. You can see the arytenoid cartilage. This is the thyroid cartilage. So this ligament here is the actually muscle is shown. This is vocalis muscle. Okay, above that you have the vocal ligament. Okay, now the outer lip of the upper border of the arch of cricoid cartilage gives origin to the cricoarytenoideus muscle. So it starts from crico and end in arytenoid. So origin will be always cricoid and insertion is arytenoid. Easily you can read the origin insertion also. Okay. So other than this, the upper border, I said it has an inner lip also. So this is again the sagittal section of the larynx. You can see, so this is the thyroid cartilage. This is the epiglottis. You can see the hyoid bone. This is the cricoid cartilage. This is arch, this is lamina, this is the first tracheal ring. Okay, so the inner lip of the upper border of the arch of cricoid cartilage gives attachment to one ligament called cricovocal membrane or conus elasticus, or also otherwise called cricothyroid membrane, that is attached between the cricoid cartilage and the thyroid cartilage here. Okay, so the upper margin of the cricovocal membrane thickened to form the vocal ligament. So the vocal ligament is nothing but the thickened upper free margin of cricovocal membrane or conus elasticus. Okay. Now the arch has an upper border, lower border. Upper border has an outer lip and inner lip. Outer lip gives attachment to lateral cricoarytenoideus and inner lip gives attachment to the cricovocal membrane. Okay. So you can see the vocal ligament colored in red color here. Okay. So next, actually, if you see this vocal ligament will be covered by mucous membrane, so which forms the vocal fold or vocal cord. Okay. So the vocal cord is nothing but the mucous membrane covering the vocal ligament is called as the vocal cord. Okay. So next we'll see about the lower border. The lower border of the arch of cricoid cartilage is attached to the first tracheal ring by a membrane called cricotracheal membrane or cricotracheal ligament. So it's very easy to remember. So next to the cricoid cartilage you have the first tracheal ring. So between these two you have the cricotracheal membrane or cricotracheal ligament. Okay. So other than this, the lower border actually also gives attachment to cricothyroid muscle. As I already said, the lower border of the thyroid cartilage gives insertion to cricothyroid muscle, so which arises from the outer surface of the cricoid cartilage. The outer surface of the cricoid cartilage gives origin to cricothyroid muscle here. Okay, so you can see the cricothyroid muscle which arises from the outer surface of cricoid cartilage is attached to lower border of the thyroid cartilage. It has two parts. One is the straight part and the one is the oblique part. You can see the straight and the oblique part here. Okay. So other than this, I already said there will be attachment of the cricopharyngeus part of the inferior constrictor muscle. The outer surface also gives attachment to the cricopharyngeus part of the cricothyroid muscle. Okay, that is inferior constrictor muscle. Cricopharyngeus part of inferior constrictor muscle. So clear about the outer surface now. Next we'll go on to the lamina of the cricoid cartilage. So lamina here it is enlarged and it appears here it is thickened here. Okay, so it has also upper and lower border, and it has an posterior surface, and this is the anterior surface. Okay, you can see the surfaces here. This is the anterior surface, and this is the posterior surface of the lamina. So in the middle of the posterior surface of the lamina, you have a thickened ridge-like thing. Okay. So now we'll see the anterior surface of the lamina, which is covered by the mucous membrane. Okay. The posterior surface of the lamina here, I already said it has a thickened ridge in the middle, which gives attachment to tendon of esophagus. Okay, it gives attachment to the tendon of esophagus, which is nothing but the thickened longitudinal muscle coat of the esophagus. Okay. And if you see the two depressed area on either side of the lamina, it gives origin to cricoarytenoides muscle, that is posterior cricoarytenoides muscle. Already we have seen the lateral cricoarytenoids. This muscle is the posterior cricoarytenoid muscle. Okay, so now the lamina on the posterior surface gives attachment to two things. One is tendon of esophagus, next is posterior cricoarytenoid muscle. Okay, so now we will see about the attachment of the cricoid cartilage. So I already said the arch outer surface gives attachment to cricothyroid muscle and lateral cricoarytenoid muscle. The lamina on the posterior surface gives attachment to posterior cricoarytenoid muscle. And in addition, it gives attachment to tendon of esophagus. And the outer surface also gives attachment to cricopharyngeus part of inferior constrictor. Two ligaments are attached along the inner lip of the arch. Along the upper border, it gives attachment to cricovocal membrane, and the lower border gives attachment to cricotracheal ligament or membrane. So that's all about the cricoid cartilage. I think you understood the cricoid cartilage. So any doubt you can clarify at the end. Okay. Now we'll go on to the joints formed by the cricoid cartilage. So what are the joints? It articulates with two bones. Okay. So in the lateral side, it has an articulating facet which articulates with the inferior horn of the thyroid cartilage to form the cricothyroid joint. And in the upper part, you can see two facets here which articulates with the arytenoid cartilage, that is base of the arytenoid cartilage, to form the cricoarytenoid joint. Okay. So I think that's all. We'll go on to the next thing. Next cartilage is the epiglottis. So epiglottis, if you see the shape of the epiglottis, it is a leaf-shaped cartilage. You can see it is leaf-shaped cartilage. It is very thin. It is situated in the midline of the larynx, the midline of neck, mainly in the anterior wall of the upper part of larynx. So it extends obliquely behind the hyoid bone and the base of the tongue. So it has an upper end and it has a lower end, and it has an anterior surface, and this is the posterior surface, and it has two lateral border. This is one border and this is another border. Okay, so it is a leaf-shaped cartilage situated in the midline. Okay, it extends obliquely behind the hyoid bone and the base of tongue. So it has upper end, lower end, anterior surface, posterior surface, and two lateral borders. So first we'll see about the upper end. Okay, so again this is the cut section of the sagittal section of larynx. You can see the hyoid bone, thyroid cartilage, arytenoid cartilage, cricoid cartilage here. So now see the epiglottis. This is the upper end. This is the lower end. Okay, so if you see the lower end or stalk, it is attached to the thyroid cartilage by a ligament called thyroepiglottic ligament. The upper end is free. Does not attach, it doesn't have any attachment. The upper end is free. It is covered by the mucous membrane. It forms the upper boundary of the inlet of larynx. Okay. So next we'll go on to the anterior surface. This is the tongue. You can see the superior view of the tongue. Okay, and this is the epiglottis. Okay, now the anterior surface of the this is the anterior surface. So which is attached to the tongue by three folds. What are the three folds? In the median part, you can see a fold. This is called median glossoepiglottic fold. On the lateral side, you can see two folds here. So this is the lateral glossoepiglottic fold. Glosso means tongue, that is attachment between the tongue and the epiglottis. So in between you can see a depression. This depression is called as the vallicula. Okay, this depression is called as the vallicula. Okay, so now we'll go on to the next thing. So the actually if you see the upper end is free, but if you see the anterior surface, so other than its attachment with the tongue, so in the middle part of the anterior surface is attached to the hyoid bone by a ligament called hyoepiglottic ligament. So this is the hyoepiglottic ligament. So you can see the attachment between the epiglottis and the hyoid bone through a ligament called hyoepiglottic ligament. Okay. Then next come to the posterior surface of the epiglottis. So it is covered by mucous membrane and it forms the anterior wall of the upper part of laryngeal cavity. It is concave from side to side. Okay. And it has a tubercle in the lower part. You can see a tubercle in the lower part. So you know the oral cavity is lined by staphylococcus squamous non-keratinized epithelium. So the upper part of the posterior surface of the epiglottis here, up to this, it is also covered by non-keratinized staphylococcus squamous epithelium. The lower part is covered by the ciliated columnar epithelium. Okay. So now next we'll go on to the lateral border of the epiglottis. Okay. So you can see this is the posterior view of the larynx. You can see the thyroid cartilage. This is the epiglottis, hyoid bone. Okay, this is the lamina of the cricoid cartilage. Okay, now see the right and left margin of the epiglottis. This is the upper end which is free. Okay, and this is the lateral margin. So the right and left margins are attached to the arytenoid cartilage which is present here. Okay, through a fold called airy epiglottic fold. Okay, so the right and left margin gives attachment to airy epiglottic fold, that is, it is between the epiglottis and the arytenoid cartilage. Okay, and other than this, so the lateral margin of the epiglottis is the side view you can see. So the lateral margin of the epiglottis gives attachment to two muscles, airy epiglotticus and thyroepiglotticus. You can see thyroepiglotticus and airy epiglotticus. Okay, here the thyroid lamina is removed. You can see the this is the cricoid lamina. Okay, and here the thyroid lamina is removed, and you can see the muscles here. Okay, so that's all about the lateral border. So do you have any doubt in the epiglottis? So the epiglottis has an upper end, lower end, lateral margin, and anterior surface and the posterior surface. Actually, if you see, epiglottis is actually rudimentary in man, but in rabbits, if you see, it is elongated and sometimes it will extend behind the soft palate and it goes to the nasopharynx. So this acts both as a olfaction and it also helps in producing voice also. Okay. So that's all about the epiglottis. Next, we'll go on to the next cartilage, that is arytenoid cartilage. This is very important cartilage. So the arytenoid cartilage, it is a two small pyramidal shaped cartilage. Now we are going to see about the paired cartilage. So far we have seen the unpaired cartilage, that is thyroid, cricoid and epiglottis. So now we are going to see about the paired cartilage, that is first one is the arytenoid cartilage. So it is a pyramid shaped cartilage. So this is the apex of the cartilage and this is the base of the cartilage. So the apex articulates with the carniculate cartilage here. Okay, and if you see the base, it lies on the upper border of the lamina of cricoid cartilage, and it is prolonged anteriorly to form the vocal process and laterally to form the muscular process. So it has three surfaces. Since it is pyramidal in shape, it has three surfaces. One is the anterolateral surface, and this one is the medial surface and posterior surface. Okay, now just see in this picture. So this is the apex, this is the base. Okay, and the medial surface will face each other, and this is the posterior surface. The anterolateral surface will be this side. Okay, so now we'll go on to detail about the processes of arytenoid cartilage. So I already said There will be extension on the lateral side to form the vocal process. On the anterior side, this is the muscular process. You can see the base of the arytenoid cartilage. It lies over the upper border of lamina of the cricoid cartilage. Okay. So next we'll see about the apex. Okay, so I already said the apex articulates with cartilage cartilage. Other than this, it gives attachment to two muscles. What are the two muscles? One is the oblique arytenoid. You can see the oblique arytenoid here. So it starts in the apex of the arytenoid process and end in the muscular process of the arytenoid itself. Okay, and this upward continuation of the oblique arytenoid, this muscle is called artery epiglotticus. So it starts from the apex of the arytenoid cartilage and is attached to the lateral margin of the epiglottis. So there are two muscles attached to the apex. One is the oblique arytenoid, and another one is the artery epiglotticus. Okay, so you can see this. So this is the apex and this is the base, and this is the medial surface. This surface facing that side is the anterolateral surface. This is the posterior surface. Okay, and this process here is the muscular process. Here will be the vocal process. Okay, so next we'll go on to the base. So the base articulates with the lamina of the cricoid cartilage to form synovial cricoarytenoid joint. Okay, so next we'll go on to the posterior surface of the arytenoid cartilage. So this is just another picture. You can see the epiglottis here, thyroid cartilage here, and this is the lamina of the cricoid cartilage. And here will be your arytenoid cartilage. Arytenoid cartilage will be here only. So now the posterior surface of the arytenoid cartilage gives attachment to transverse arytenoid muscle, which oriented transversely anterior to the oblique arytenoid. You can see the oblique arytenoid is like X-shaped. So each one will cross in a cruciform form. So anterior to that will be the transverse arytenoid muscle. Okay, so the posterior surface of arytenoid cartilage gives attachment to the transverse arytenoid muscle. Okay, so next come to the medial surface of the arytenoid cartilage. This medial surface is lined by the mucous membrane. They will face each other. Okay, so far you have seen the apex, base, and the posterior surface and the medial surface. Next we'll see about the anterolateral surface. So the anterolateral surface, I already said it has an extension. Okay, so the extension is the vocal process here. Okay, so this opposite the vocal process, you can see in the next picture. Okay, so this is the vocal process. So the vocal process gives attachment to the vocal ligament. So this is the cricovocal membrane or ligament. So it gives attachment to the vocal ligament, and next to the vocal ligament you have the attachment of the vocalis muscle. Okay, so this generally you have already seen in the posterior surface of the anterior border of thyroid cartilage. This two attachment, and lateral to that you have the thyroarytenoides muscle also will be there. Okay, so there will be three things attached to the vocal process. One is the vocal ligament, vocalis muscle, and next one will be the thyroarytenoides muscle. Okay, so and if you see the vestibular ligament will be attached above the vocal process here. So this is the vestibular ligament. So the vestibular ligament is nothing but the thickened lower free margin of the quadrate membrane. So this quadrate membrane, it extends between arytenoid cartilage and the epiglottis. So which is also attached to the thyroid cartilage anteriorly. Okay. So I think you are clear about the anterolateral surface of the arytenoid cartilage. So next we'll see about the muscular process. So this is the muscular process. This is the vocal process. So vocal process, as I already said, it gives attachment to vocal ligament, vocalis muscle, and thyroarytenoides muscle. If you see the muscular process, this is a schematic diagram. You can use it for the attachment of muscles. Okay, and this process is the vocal process here. This is the muscular process. So the muscular process gives attachment to two muscle. lateral cricoarytenoides muscle and posterior cricoarytenoides muscle. Okay, so I think now you're clear about the arytenoid cartilage. So there will be two process, vocal and muscular process. Okay. Now, if see the summary of the attachment of arytenoid cartilage, the muscles attached are vocalis muscle, posterior and lateral cricoarytenoid muscle, oblique arytenoid, aryepiglottic muscle, thyroarytenoid muscle, and transverse arytenoid muscle. So this articulates with two cartilages. One is the carnicate cartilage, another one is the cricoid cartilage. So it articulates with cricoid cartilage here. Above it articulates with the carnicate cartilage. Okay, so that's all about the arytenoid cartilage. Next, we'll see about the carnicate and cuneiform cartilage. So these are very tiny, small, conical shaped or conical nodules near the apex of the arytenoid cartilage. So even we can say tiny rod-shaped cartilages. So where it is located? It is located in the posterior part of the aryepiglottic fold. Okay. If you see in this picture, so there are other names also there for this cartilages. For carnicate cartilage, we used to call it carnicate cartilage of Santorini, and for cuneiform, we used to call it as cuneiform cartilage of Risper. Okay, in the next picture, you can see. So I forgot to put that picture. I'll show it in the next slide. So actually, I told it is located in the posterior part of aryepiglottic fold. So the main function here is it acts as a probe and keep the aryepiglottic fold straight. Okay. Wait, I'll show in the picture here. Okay, not this picture. Okay. So this is the aryepiglottic fold. Okay, you can see two small nodules. No, one here, another one here. So this is for carnicate and this is for the cuneiform. So this keeps the aryepiglottic fold as a actually it acts as a probe here. That means it does not allow the aryepiglottic fold to collapse here. Okay, that is the main function of the two cartilages. Okay, carnicate and cuneiform. Okay, I think you are clear with the carnicate and cuneiform cartilages. So now we have seen about the cartilages of larynx. Three paired are arytenoid, carnicate, and cuneiform. Unpaired cartilage are thyroid, cricoid, and epiglottis. So with this, I'll finish the class. The rest of the topic will be covered in the subsequent sessions. Okay.
This
Any doubt
conference
you
will now
can
be recorded.
ask now. Do you have any doubts? Because it's a lot of new terms and it's literally larynx is a very difficult topic. If you read, you will understand. Okay. Use read in Chaurashya. Okay, it will be given in detail in Chaurashya. In Vishram Singh, it will not be given detailedly. Okay, and in the next session about the joints and ligaments, I will take in the evening. I will tell the time. Okay, most probably 5:30. Okay, I'll send the message. You can read the topic and come to the next class. Then you can clear your doubts. If you have any doubt now, you can clarify now. Do you have any doubt now? Anybody? Shalini, do you have any doubt?
We'll study and ask in the evening session, ma'am.
Okay. So will you able to answer for some question? Just identify the picture here. This you will do, no? So don't leave. After answering the question, you can leave the meeting. Okay. So all of you wait. Okay. So what is the arrowed part here? First one. So this is the lateral view of the inner view of the larynx. Okay. So it is median view. It's not lateral view. Median view of the sagittal section of larynx. So what is the first arrow here?
Thyroid, lateral thyroid ligament.
Very good. Lateral thyroid. Very good. Very good. Okay. So we'll go on to the next question. So what is this one? Second arrow.
Lamina of cricoid cartilage.
Very good. Okay. Students, don't get feared, because today I'm not going to point out any person to answer, because I think you didn't like I'm pointing, that's why you are leaving early. So anybody can answer here. So next, what is this one? Next arrow. Whoever knows the answer, you can answer. What is this one?
Focal ligament.
Very good. Vocal ligament. No, it is vocal ligament. Here the color, see, it is a blue color. It is vocal ligament. Okay. So what is this one?
Cartilago tritisia.
Very good. Cartilago tritisia. What is cartilago tritisia? Kogilavani. Will you answer what is cartilago tritisia?
The lateral thyroid ligament will thicken to form it, ma'am.
Yeah, additional cartilage in the lateral cricothyroid ligament. Okay. So what is this? Next arrow. What is this one? This cartilage.
Arytenoid cartilage.
Very good. Okay. What is this one? What is this part?
Cricothyroid ligament.
No, it is inferior horn of the posterior border of thyroid.
Posterior border of
Inferior horn. This is the inferior horn. Okay. So next picture. So identify the picture. What is the first picture, and both the pictures are same only. What is the picture?
cricoid cartilage.
Okay. What is the first one? What is the first one?
Arch of cricoid.
What is the second facet?
For articulation with thyroid cartilage.
Good. Okay. What is the third one? This facet is for what?
Articulation with arytenoid cartilage.
Okay, good. Now see, this is the posterior view. This is the lamina. So what is the number 8?
This the
Posterior surface of the lamina of thyroid cartilage. What muscle is attached here? The posterior surface of lamina of thyroid cartilage.
Posterior cricoarytenoid muscle.
Very good. So in the median ridge, thickened ridge, what is attached here?
Tendon of esophagus.
Good. Next, we'll go to the next person. So what is this arrowed muscle here? This is the thyroid cartilage, lamina of the thyroid cartilage. So what is this?
Posterior.
Yeah, it is posterior cricoid. Okay. What is the next one? This one. Green color.
Horizontal one.
transverse arytenoid.
Transverse.
Yeah, it is transverse arytenoid. Okay. So what is this one? X-shaped muscle.
Oblique arytenoid.
Okay. What is this one? This one.
Epiglottis.
So what is the arrowed part shows? Arrowed part
Epiglottic
shows.
ma'am.
Epiglottic?
Tubercle.
Okay, epiglottic tubercle. But actually this arrow points into the inlet of larynx. Okay. So this is epiglottic tubercle, and this arrowed part, it shows the inlet of the larynx. Okay. So with this, I'll finish the class. So evening we will see. Okay. No doubts, no? Shall I leave the meeting?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.